All right, we're up and running. So I'm Ryan Richardson. I am assistant principal at Alder Creek Middle School in North Clackamas School District.
I'm Lydia Poole. I'm assistant principal at Bridger K-8 in Portland Public School District.
I'm Sho Shigioka, the administrator for equity and inclusion in the Beaverton School District.
And I'm Victor Vergara, principal of the Academy of International Studies, Woodburn High School.
And our presentation is on Senate Bill 290, and we are specifically focused on administrator effectiveness. All of us are in positions of leadership, and we believe that leaders play a critical role in eliminating the perpetual gaps found in our educational system. Our theory of action is that if we, as administrators, are evaluated based on the focus on equitable practices, then we'll be able to support the success of historically underrepresented students, hence preparing them to be college and career ready. While we don't believe that administration evaluation is the only mechanism in which to close the access opportunity and achievement gaps for the purpose of this assignment, we feel it's critical to analyze Senate Bill 290, which focuses on administrator evaluation.
All right, so what is Senate Bill 290? Senate Bill 290 essentially evaluates teachers and administrators, changes the way we evaluate them. They've always been evaluated, but it changes the way we evaluate them. One of the key measures is to have student growth, and there are multiple ways to measure student growth. This was a bill that was passed in 2011. And it's meant to align teaching and administration standards. It focuses on student learning and student growth, and it was part of the ESEA waiver. And it's really a regulatory policy in that it explicitly requires teachers and administrators, it requires teacher and administrator behaviors through an evaluation system. So the focus is our focus is the administrator side of things, so administrator effectiveness. One of the expressed intents from the Oregon Framework for Teacher and Administrator Evaluation and Support Systems was to bring about more equitable outcomes. So this statement that is on this slide, effective administrators in the state of Oregon integrate principles of cultural competency and equitable practice and promote the success of every student through, and then there are 6 standards following that statement. And so the idea of cultural competency and equitable practice is showered throughout these 6 standards. And the standards are visionary leadership, instructional improvement, effective management, inclusive practice, ethical leadership, and socio-political context. And every standard begins with this idea of cultural competency and equitable practice. And we want to have that be the focus as we look at SB 290.
Okay, for the analysis of our problem practice, in this section we're going to share some economic and demographic considerations related to this policy, and then we are to explore the notion of whether or not SB 290 addresses what effective administrators are supposed to be doing to close the achievement gap between white and minority students. So in the next slide, we are sharing with you some economic and demographic considerations. 36% of our students are students of color, 8% of teachers are teachers of color, 14% of administrators are administrators of color. All this data is the state of Oregon. 50% of Hispanic students meet 3rd grade reading benchmark. 37% of black students pass the 6th grade math test. 77% of ELL students pass the high school science test, and the 4-year graduation rate for most of our students of color is just over 50%. Again, all this data is from the Oregon Department of Education 2014. So a few things that we need to consider in terms of demographics and in terms of the considerations are, number one, increasing the racial and ethnic and linguistic diversity in our K-12 school system, where we see levels of increase in terms of poverty levels as well, and the perpetual achievement gaps according to race and class in our state, and the federal and state funding to support historically underrepresented students is still a flat level.